Well, good afternoon, or good morning, I should say. Wow, I'm way off. Uh, I'm Richard Byrne, and you're here for Practical EdTech 10, where I cover all things related to ISTE as well as your EdTech questions. So, we're going to start with my recap of ISTE 2017. First of all, I caught a cold on my way home from it, which is why I sound the way I sound today. So, I apologize for me coughing a couple of times here. I'm back in Maine, and it's pouring rain and cold again on the last day of June. So anyway, let's start with my ISTE 2017 recap. First of all, it was great to meet so many people for the first time. It was also great to reconnect with a bunch of folks I hadn't seen in a while. Some people came as far as Singapore to say hello. So hey, Kwan, thanks for making the trip, and I hope you had a great time. If that was your first time at ISTE, for everyone else, it was great, and I hope more people can join us next year in Chicago for ISTE 2018 next year. All right, so some product updates. Let's go through some product updates that I experienced firsthand while at ISTE. Number one, Kahoot has a new mobile app coming out. The Kahoot mobile app is currently in beta, but you can sign up and they'll send you directions on how to become a beta tester for the mobile app. The mobile app for Kahoot has some really slick, exciting features, including the ability to send games to students as challenges that they can play on their own. They can play them at home. They can play them on the school bus, wherever they have a connection. They don't have to be in the classroom with you to play the Kahoot challenges. So that's pretty exciting. The other nice thing about the mobile app is that when they play those challenges, they'll see the questions and the answer choices on the same screen. One of the big complaints about Kahoot in the past has been that they didn't have that feature. So that is an option in the new mobile app. So make sure you check that out. Unfortunately, that option is not available in the web version of Kahoot quite yet, but I'm sure it's getting there. A couple other things I saw firsthand. Google Earth can now be added to your G Suite account. So your domain administrator can add in Google Earth as a G Suite feature. That's the web version of Google Earth. The desktop version remains the same as it always was, but the new version of Google Earth also has some features, some new voyages and features for students to explore. The other Google update is that Google Forms now has batch grading of questions. So rather than going through and grading all of your students on an individual basis, you can grade question by question. So if I have 25 kids, I can grade question 1 all the way across the board, and then come back and grade question 2 all the way across the board, as opposed to having to go through all the questions from one student at a time. So that's kind of cool. But one of the things that I was most excited about from a product update standpoint, I actually still have the handout from it. Got to meet with Vlada from ClassTag. ClassTag, I don't know if that shows up really well there. You can kind of see it, but anyway. So ClassTag is a communication platform for teachers in schools to reach out to parents and students. Now, it was originally set up as a tool for scheduling parent-teacher conferences, but it's expanded beyond that. So ClassTag can be used to send SMS messages, push notifications, and emails, all from the same platform, all from the same place. But the neat thing that ClassTag is doing is it has some AI in there that's designed to determine whether or not a parent or a student is opening your messages. And if they're not opening them quickly or they're not opening them at all, it will then suggest a better way to reach out to them. And one of those options actually includes just sending a good old-fashioned paper flyer home. Because as much as we would love to believe that every parent is going to have their mobile device on all the time, or wants to get email from us, or wants to get text messages from us, the reality is that sometimes they don't want that, and they want a good old-fashioned paper flyer. The example that I gave earlier this week is that even with as tech savvy as I am and as locked into technology as I am, I still print out the Google Calendar in our house. I still print it out and put it on the refrigerator so that we know when the babysitter is available and when the babysitter is not available. Just makes it easier for us rather than trying to look at our phones all the time. So that's kind of cool. So check out ClassTag. You can find it at classtag.com. Seesaw, speaking of messaging, Seesaw, the digital portfolio tool, has added a messaging option that's going to be rolled out in the new version of their app. Their new app version is coming out on July 5th. So check out Seesaw. They have a new app coming out July 5th. It's going to streamline a lot of the ways that you look at digital portfolios, and it also will include a messaging option that you can use to reach out to students and parents. Right? And I have a more detailed write-up on most of these things that I'll put in the link to the show notes here. Book Creator, I got to meet with Dan Kemp from Book Creator, very, very popular iPad app, Book Creator, now available to use in your web browser, works best in Chrome. So check that out. And last but not least, in the product updates, I just wrote about this yesterday. Front Row, which is a tool for offering differentiated practice activities in math and ELA, now has a social studies component, so you can offer differentiated resources to your students based on their reading abilities through Front Row. So check that out as well. And again, I'll put that all in the show notes for the YouTube channel, as well as anyone who's here on the Facebook Live. Hey, Facebook Live people. I've got both streams going at the same time. All right. So some cool finds, things I hadn't played with before, hadn't seen before, or hadn't seen in a long time. I was reminded of them. PyTop. A lot of people wanted me to find out about different things from makerspaces and programming. So PyTop, which had a huge display at ISTE. I spent some time there. Actually hung out with my buddy Steve Dembo for a little while. And we took a look at some Raspberry Pi stuff that you can do in PyTop. One of the coolest things, and I've lost the flyer. No, there it is. You go to the PyTop website. It's pi-top.com. Go there and check out some of the stuff that they're offering. The thing that I played with was the Seed Universe. The Seed Universe is a Raspberry Pi computer that your students put together and program. So check that out. They have a lot of great little projects that your students can do to learn about programming through the use of Raspberry Pi. So very, very cool stuff. Which gets me into one of the best presentations that I saw. The presentation I was looking forward to the most, and I thought would be great, and it turned out it was great, was Gary Stager's Logo at 50, or 50th anniversary of Logo, 50th birthday of Logo. I forget exactly what the title was, but unfortunately not many people went, but it was awesome. You missed out on some great stuff. One of the things that I learned there was a little tip about turtle art, which I hadn't seen before. You can drag from the Turtle Art Gallery into the Turtle Art software, drag something from the Turtle Art Gallery into the software itself, and you'll see the program. And then you can take that program and modify it based on whatever changes you want to make. So kind of a cool thing. Some more DIY projects, a Workbench platform. I went over and played with the Workbench platform folks for a little bit. And they had some really neat projects, including one that I put on Instagram of me trying to drive I'm blanking on the name of the thing. But anyway, trying to drive a gadget across the floor by using homemade pedals that were connected to various circuit boards. So that was kind of cool. Breakout EDU. Some of you may have seen the video that I did with Adam Bello already. Breakout EDU has a new 80s themed game, and you can check that out at breakoutedu.com. Make sure I give you the right. Yep, Breakout. So go to breakoutedu.com/digital. You'll find some of their digital games, and they have a new 80s themed game as well. So check that out. Okay. Now, some other quick things. Met up with my buddy Rushton Hurley. Some of you may have seen that video as well. Rushton has a new book out, Making Your Classroom Something Great. It's a follow-up to his book, Making Your School Something Great, or Something Special. Something Special. Sorry, Rushton. Butchered the title of your book. But check out Rushton Hurley's new book. Rushton is always full of great ideas and full of enthusiasm. So check out Rushton's stuff. Another new book that is out, and I've started reading already, Jennifer Costa Todd's Social Leadia. It's about how students can become leaders through social media. So digital citizenship, great digital citizenship tips. And I'd encourage you to check out Social Leadia. I've already read the first chapter on my plane ride home. And I think that covers all the really cool finds that were different. I do have one other thing. Keybodo has these tactile keyboard covers. So I don't know if it shows up. It doesn't show up very well here. But as you see, you lay it over the top of your keyboard, and it has all the letters raised for you to touch as you are typing. Very, very tactile keyboard. Kind of cool. Neat little thing. So check that out. Keybodo. Right. Cool thing. You also want to check out. That particular one, there's different sizes, different varieties of it. That particular one is for a MacBook Air or a MacBook Pro, the same keyboard size. All right, so a couple of questions from readers to wrap it up for tonight. Hey, thanks Jody. Thanks for being here. As always, if you have any questions or something you want me to follow up on, feel free to put them in the live chat, but I'm going to just answer a couple of questions that I got this week. I am a little bit backlogged in my email, and by a little bit, I mean I'm like 40 emails behind right now. Sorry. So hopefully I'll get to you. If you have put in a question, but I didn't get to you yet, I will. Here's one of the two questions that I got. I've been put in charge of social media for next year at my school. Do you know a good way to keep track of what gets posted when? My thinking is that I'll have teachers send me what they want posted, then I'll post it on our Facebook and Twitter feed for the school. So it sounds like, quite frankly, it sounds like you're going to need a couple of things in place just to keep track of. If you're the person who has to post on behalf of everyone else, sounds like you're going to need a couple of things to try to keep track of this. The first thing I would do is I'd set up a Google form where people submit what they want me to have posted. So I might put in, and the nice thing about Google Forms now is if you're in a school domain and you're all in the same school domain, you can have people upload images. So I'd put in a question where they upload an image that they want posted as well. Put that in there and then have them write out exactly what they want posted. Obviously check it for spelling and whatnot. So I'd collect it all that way and ask them with a question of what date do you want this posted on, or what time do you want this posted. And then I'd use Hootsuite. Hootsuite is probably the best way to manage the posting. You can put your things into Hootsuite, connect it to Facebook and Twitter, and just set it on a schedule. So you might set a deadline for people to submit their things for the week for social media. Say that by Friday the week before, you need to have all your things in, and then schedule it on Monday so that everything goes live throughout the week. You can schedule things weeks in advance if you want to, using Hootsuite. So check out Hootsuite.com. So that's how I would go about doing it. And that's kind of how I do it in my own life right now. Some of you may have noticed that I sometimes tweet at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm not really up at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's Hootsuite doing it on my behalf. So a little peek behind the curtain of freetechforteachers.com right there. All right, now I saw your video about making storyboard templates. Can you recommend some animation tools that I can use on our Chromebooks? Right. So, well, yes. First one that comes to mind, full disclosure, they're an advertiser on my site. Storyboard That offers some great tools for making making storyboard frames, and you can have some animation in those frames depending on the characters that you use. And if you export to PowerPoint, you can retain some of that animation in PowerPoint. Of course, you're looking for Chromebooks, so PowerPoint has animations, but you can't really use them there. In Google Slides, there are some basic animations you can do in the form of transitions. So check that out. But I'd also take a look. at what ABCia offers. ABCia.com has some animation tools that will work in the web browser on your Chromebook. Check that out. And I would also check out Pixton. Pixton has some tools that will work as well. And last but not least, of course, is GoAnimate. So check out GoAnimate. That will also run on your Chromebook. So those are some options for animations on your Chromebooks. I believe I have a blog post about this, and I will link that up in the show notes as well when I send that out. And if you're watching this on Facebook, of course, you can see that in the show notes on the Facebook page. So this is my longest episode of Practical EdTech Live yet. I rambled on for quite a bit about ISTE, but a lot of things happening at ISTE. Cool opportunity. As always, I hope more people get to go next year. If you have any questions for me over the next week, feel free to send me an email, richardbyrne@freetech4teachers.com or richard@byrne.media, and I will address your question in next week's episode of Practical EdTech Live. So thanks everyone for joining me. I hope to see you next week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the 4th of July.